Okay, can everyone hear me? Yeah. Welcome, everyone, to our part one of CTE Week for ESL students. We're very happy to have you here and on Zoom. I want to thank Professor Reyes for being here. Thank you for taking the time to join us and help our students understand your program. We're going to be focusing mainly on information technology program at Contra Costa College. So we will begin with Professor Reyes talking about the program, and afterwards, if students have any questions, you can ask. And we'll follow up with our student panel, which will include two students who will talk about their experiences, offer advice to students who are interested in the program, and take any questions that you may have. We also have food in the back, so you guys can help yourselves to the food right when we finish. Okay? Thank you.
So, good evening, everybody. Right. So, my name is Professor Reyes. Right. I was gonna make a joke like uh, introduce myself as Professor Xavier with a wheelchair, but I have to cut my hair. Right. So, but anyway, right. Uh, the degree, the AS degree in Information Technology, is the program that I want to promote. Right. The program. So we are. Oh, thank you. Right. So we're on the best place to be in information technology. Right. I hope everybody realized that. Right. So all of the biggest company in the world in IT is here. Google is here. Facebook is here. Salesforce is here. Right. And I always tell my students, just study, make sure you prepare, and you could possibly go and join those different big companies, right? So they're just very close. Like Salesforce is very close to they're in San Francisco, right? Information technology, IT, right? Is the degree that we designed, right, for Contra Costa College, right? And Basically uh, the before we start, let me just show you some possibilities of things that you could do, or some of the things that were done on the journey of IT, right? Studying IT. Second there. So anyway, so I think the video didn't load that great, but anyway, right? So what this slide is basically is it's talking about like somebody who immigrated to the U.S. With his family, right? And they uh, the The parents were like working in restaurants, right? Okay, and working with uh, barely meeting all of the needs of their family, right? Then the son came in and studied information technology, right? And the When the son started studying IT or information technology, it was through like a company uh, or through a school like us, um, and who does partnership with bigger companies like Cisco, right? Cisco is one of the biggest company in the world in networking, right? And We have partnership with them, so the books are free, right? Most of the books are free. Like when you study or you're trained with 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 the AS degree in IT, right? Um, with that, he was able to, after 2 years, he was able to go into an IT company, and was able to help his parents, right? So uh, uh, support their family, right? So that's what this was supposed to be, right?
Now's the time to achieve your goals. Contra Costa College can help you gain office job skills in our business office technology department. Or train in computer networking, information systems, and cybersecurity to start a career in IT. With flexible, fast-tracked programs, you can gain the experience needed to get ahead, update your resume, and make more money. Plus, we can connect you with resources to help pay for tuition, books, and get industry standard certifications. Start today at contracosta.edu.
Okay, so this is just like some of the things that we do and some of the things that we have on our laboratory, right? So the AS degree in information technology, that's my contact information. So what they do is they studied computers, basic computer, and then they study networking, how to connect the computers together. Then they study how to work with bigger computers, faster computers called server, right? And then they go into cybersecurity. One of the things that is highly sought out skill nowadays all throughout the world, because there are a lot of hackers, and uh, there has to be the good guys, which is basically the cyber defender. So one of the things that I try to promote is you becoming a cyber defender, right? To be the good guys, right? So that when there are hackers, right, you're going to be the ones who's protecting our infrastructure all over the United States, right? So you can see from the lab, right? So we have all of the equipments that you use to become one of those skills in IT. You might have to study more, but you start from the education at Contra Costa College. So a lot of words here, but basically, when you go to the website of Contra Costa College, you'll see the different certificates that you can get. There is the AS degree, which is 2 years, 22 units. But when you take like the first three classes, you get a certificate right away. You could possibly get the certificate if you take the right classes. The first certificate is the computer support specialist, which is a certificate that you can get uh, that will uh, that will prove or that will give you the skills to take care of computers. Like there's companies, any company, any company has computers, so there should be a person who they go to, right, to fix the computer of their, or if there's problems with computers. So that's what prepares you. That the first, the first certificate. Now the first certificate you could see um, has the first semester you take like CAS 135, which is Introduction to Computers. So you don't have to know like computers, like hardware or what. It's just working with software. It's working with Microsoft Office, a little bit of programming, working on how to manage your files, right? So very basic, right? So you don't need there is no prerequisite to for those different classes. Also, okay, there's another class called your IT Essential, and IT Essential is basically working with hardware, computer hardware, right? So there's where you have all the skills that you need to be a IT professional, hardware, a little bit of hardware, working with computers, opening up computers, putting it back again, right? And then connecting computers together, right? Working a little bit with viruses or antivirus. So just basic information, okay, on basic information in IT. That's why it's IT essential. The last, the last part, another class that you have in order for you to get this certificate, right? Is your Comp 110. Comp 110 is programming in Python, right? So Python is one of the programming that you need in order for you to apply the apply programming into networking and IT, right? So This other one here, right? Another After you take the first three classes and you get the certificate, right, which is state approved, then you go into your you can take the rest of the classes, and while you're taking the rest of the classes, you again can have like an additional certificate called your Certificate of Achievement in Network and Security Specialist. So the classes that you have to take for that is System Administration, right? Introduction to Information Security, that will be the cybersecurity, right? And then Computer Network Fundamentals, which is connecting computers together, right? All of them doesn't have a prerequisite because we start from the very basic, right? And most of them has free books, right? So because they're online, they're sponsored uh, by Cisco Networking, right? So the company that that we have educational alliance with. So this is the whole degree, right? And It's about 22 units in order for you to get to that degree, right? And while you're going through the track or taking the classes, you get the different certificates, right? So to motivate you to get through, right, okay, the whole program. So you could get through the whole programs in 2 years, right? So let's see here. So the different jobs, right? The different jobs that you could possibly go to, right, is computer support specialist, which is fixing computers, right? Fixing computers that you have, that if in a company if the computers go down, right? So that's the basic uh, uh, skill, right? That usually as entry level job, right? To go, but to on an IT industry, right? So the next one is network and computer system administration, right? Which is another job that you can possibly go to, right? Your computer support specialist, approximately according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average salary is about 40 to 50K a year, right? So that's the computer support specialist working with computers. The network and support system administrator, that's more on like working with the networks, right? Making sure that the networks go, the speed of the network is good, the network is protected, right? Setting up your different equipments like routers and switches, and we have all of those equipments in labs in our lab room. We also are equipped with a data center that you could do your lab. Now, most of the class that we have, you could do at home, right? Because you can go into our data center, which is basically online. You can do like virtual labs. A lot of the things that are out there, or some of the jobs out there, you work from home, and then you maintain the different computers from home, right? One of my students long time ago, because I've been teaching for like about 20, more than 25 years now, right? One of the things that my students, when I invited him to talk to my other new students, said, because right now he's working in Verizon, right, Verizon Networks, right? When you work with networking and computer, the world is in your fingertips, and it's really what he does, because he works from home, but he creates and secure different networks all over the world, in America, in other countries, right? So he does the maintenance and securing and setup of of all the networks in the world. So that's one of the things that you could possibly do, work from home in IT, right? So it depends though, right? So there's information security. I told you again, that's another job that you can go into. And as you go through from the top to the bottom, right? Usually you start knowing your networks, okay, by studying the computers, by doing a computer support specialist job. Now, once you master that, then you can take more responsibility and work with the networks. After that, you can work with security. So, and then you go to network architects and so on and so forth. Go to the cloud, or go to cloud computing like AWS or Microsoft Azure, right, or Google Cloud, where you're maintaining all of the networks in the cloud, right? From the top to the bottom, right, the salary will go higher and higher as you take more responsibility, right? But usually you have to have a background like in computer hardware, which is a job that you can, the skills that you can get when you go into the jobs of computer support specialists, right? So this is just a link, right? So a link that you can go into, right? When you want to, uh, the source of my information is basically from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So these are the different um, uh, classes, right? When you're taking the different classes, the whole classes for the AS degree in information technology, right? From top to bottom is those classes that I mentioned to you, right? And it's a total of 22 units. So these are all of the classes. Now, if you take a couple of the classes, like I told you, then you get the certificate of achievement of user support specialist, right? So if you take like three of this specific classes right here, then you get that certificate. Now, why do you need the certificate? Sometimes when you go and apply for a job, right, they're gonna say like, oh, okay, so how do you prove that you know what you said you know, right? So then you show your certificate. Of course, you gotta do the interview, right? But then also you have that certificate that you're certified, okay, on those different those different information, right? So also, right, so if you take the rest of the classes, right, then you get that certificate also, right? You can finish the degree, right, okay, in 2 years. These are like the features of the AS degree in information technology. You can finish in 2 years, right? We have industry partner. We have partnership with, again, one of the biggest companies in networking in the world, which is Cisco Networks. We have partnership with Google. We have partnership with CompTIA. When you want to get your certification, your official certification in the industry, right? There's CompTIA certification, right? Some of the companies out there won't even like interview you if you don't have those certification. One of the basic certification is CompTIA A plus certification, right? It costs money to take that certification, but we are part of the CompTIA Academy, so you can get that certification for half the price, and also we're trying to see if the we can get more sponsorship, right, so that you can take it for free. Right? We're still at the works on that one, right? Uh, Job ready before graduation. Now, one of the requirements, right, of before you can graduate, is the last part over here, right? So, which is basically internship. You have to have an internship, and we have a lot of we have a lot of our students who are now doing their internship, right? So it's not enough for you to get the information. Yeah, no, you have to practice what you know. So that's why we require all the students to go to internship, about 150 hours of internship, right? Before they could graduate, right? In fact, later on, one of my students, Jonathan, right, he's gonna share with you, right, his experience. Right now, he's interning with one of the few national labs in America, Berkeley Labs, and he's already working there in a paid internship, right? They have two kinds of internship. You do internship on site, you go to work on the Berkeley Labs, or you can do your internship from home. They send you the equipment, and you take in like the calls and all of the things that people who need the help with their computers, and then you help them from there, right? So, and again, that's a paid internship. We have students who went to Chevron, right, and was hired by Chevron. Some of my interns or some of my students, okay, after internship, they got hired at Berkeley Labs, right? And there's other companies that are out there that we are trying to get more affiliation or partnership with, so that when you finish your classes, then you can go and do your internship, right? So internship, I think, is so critical because when you most of the colleges out there that doesn't offer internship when you graduate, right? It's hard to get a job because you don't have experience, but they don't hire you because you don't have an experience. So it's like back and forth, right? So and what is the solution? Internship. So that's why internship is required, right? Okay, in this course, right? So and it's a good thing, right? So so the partnership, right? Okay, and the preparation for industry certification. So we have an IT club, right? So where those who are, it's free to join the IT club. We meet every Thursday, right? And we prepare for. I help the students prepare for certification on our IT club. We also have some free trainings. There are more trainings out there that are free, and I try to have the students be able to join those free trainings, like free industry training, right? So now, in order for you to, this is basically the plan, right? So, um, in order for you, so the quicker you finish the course, the better you would be, because then you will be working, right? So, in order for you to finish the whole degree in 2 years, then that is the sequence basically. So this is where the classes are offered, right? So when you follow this, and I'll be happy to like share this with you, we'll put it on the website also, right? There's always going to be classes every semester that you can take towards your AS degree in information technology and also the certification, right? So it's not like when you okay after that you take certain classes, what's next, right? So you know right away when the classes will be offered, right? So this is the sequence when the classes will be offered, right? So you know you can plan if you're a working student, then you can plan how many units could you take this semester, and then if you don't take that many units this semester, would they be offered? Will the class be offered next semester? That's always the question, because sometimes the 2 years becomes 4 years, becomes 5 years, because the classes are not offered, right? So what we did is, with the help of the dean or my bosses, who I report to, right, we were able to create a sequence so that the classes will always be offered on that sequence, right? So, and so here is basically the plan that we did in order for us to have our students be able to work, right, or be work ready after 2 years, right? We also uh, we partnered with different companies, right? Like Cisco, right? Cisco Networks is really huge, right? And they have like all of the network, most of the network equipments around the world. Okay, they produce, right? So they have other manufacturers, or they have competitors, but they're really big, right? So we partner with them. So we are a Cisco Academy. When you finish your training in Cisco, which most of the classes are, then you get a badge for Cisco. And what is the benefit of that? That badge, when you get those different badge, after you get all of your training, you are eligible to be in their job site. So you can access their job site. If you're looking for a job, you go to the Cisco job site board, right? And jobs will be available there depending on your availability, depending on your qualification, right? So, but that's the benefit of partnering with industry like Cisco. We also use Google materials. So Google has this IT certificate, right, of support, right? So and we use a lot of their materials and all of those are free materials. I told you that we are partnered with CompTIA, which is basically like the company that does the certification for IT and others, but they're really big in IT, right? So by partnering with them, you get like 50% discount when you get the certification, right? The official certifications. You have to take the test, okay? But most of the classes that we have is to prepare you for those different certifications, right? So we have an IT club, and we do a lot of we do a lot of field trips because I want my students to see what is out there in the field. We went to like Amazon, right? So not the Amazon, the where they package things. We went to the Amazon in San Francisco where they do like the IT, the web, the cloud computing and so on and so forth. We went to Oracle seminars, conferences. We went to Salesforce in the city, right? We went into a data center. Data center is basically when you like Kaiser Permanente. This is Kaiser Permanente, where we're trying to like get also partnership, right? We went into their data center, and what that is basically is when somebody in Kaiser wants to find out wants to keep like the patient's record and all, they go into the website, right? Going to the website goes to that data center. It's like a warehouse of all computers, right? So that they maintain, right? So and there's free training, right? Every summer, if you're interested, right? Just if you're part of the IT club, right? So and please be part of the IT club. It's free to join, right? You get to go into this free training in cybersecurity for 1 week, even though you don't know anything in cybersecurity. 1 week for free, you get training on basic cybersecurity, right? How does somebody secure their networks, secure their computer? There's training in intermediate, right? Okay, and there's training in advanced. There's 3 weeks of free training, right? For you, or even high school to above, like high school and community college students, it's available, right, for you, right? That's sponsored by by Contra Costa College, right? So student success, we have students already like working in the different industry, like I told you before. After their internship, right? They were able to be hired by the companies that they went to internship with, right? And then we also have like other trainings out there, right? That you can go into free trainings from the industry. So thank you for listening, and hope you consider the AS degree in IT and certificates. There's those two certificates, right, in Contra Costa College, right? So let's do it. IT is information technology, right? Um, I have my uh, my I have my student, right? Kay, Jonathan, right? So, and he's now with Lawrence Berkeley Labs, one of the few national laboratories in America, and he's working there.
I believe 16 scientists who have worked at Berkeley Labs have been awarded Nobel Prizes.
Nobel prizes, right? So I'm gonna let him speak. Is there gonna be somebody who's gonna ask word? I'm not sure how it works. Sorry. Oh yes. Sorry. Yep. Is there any questions? Anybody? So it really depends, right? Right. So it depends really, like any job, right? Any job, there's always that opportunity to work at home, right? So with IT, because you can remote into the computer, right? So just like some of the interns that we have in Berkeley Labs, it's a paid internship, but they work from home. They're given like the equipment and they work from home, right? So any of the jobs, right, in IT, there's always a possibility. It depends on the company. Good question. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Reyes. I want to repeat the question so our students on Zoom can also hear. It was a great question. So the question was, if someone becomes a computer network specialist, can they work from home or do they need to go in to work in person, right? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. And the answer is it depends on the company. But some of my friends, a lot of my friends, that they work from home.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anybody?
Other questions? Is there anything on Zoom? Okay. I have a question, Professor Ray. So the slide that you showed about the summer training that's
Yes.
free for students.
Yep.
So all these students who are interested, they can begin in one of those programs if they want to?
So they have to be a student.
So they are all students?
Yeah,
Yes.
you have to be a student no matter what. If not IT, it's better if you're IT, right? But if you're not IT, you can attend like the basic. You don't have to have knowledge of cybersecurity, right? But it's really interesting, right? So the first lab was how to crack a password, right? So not to be like bad, not to be, but it shows the students, like what are the materials, or what are the free software out there that you could crack a password, and how can you protect, right? That's the next thing. How can you protect not being able to your password to be hacked, right? So there's a, and it's free. It's totally free, right? You get access also to some of the Cisco materials, right? So it's a good entry level, or like you're trying to like get a feel of what IT does, and there's a lot, right? So there's a lot of things that that you encounter in information technology.
Thank you. So maybe we can get information from you about if students are interested, how do they apply for it?
Absolutely, yeah. So what we do is towards summer, because it's always on summer, right? Because we try not to put that in with the regular class, because you guys are busy already, and we know that you might not have time to focus, so we do it on summer, 3 weeks in summer.
Okay,
It's free.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Oh, and by the way, it's free because it's sponsored by a lot of other companies. Because we're really lacking the U.S. is really looking for cybersecurity defenders, right? And that's why we're giving that training for free.
Okay, great. Thank you, Professor Reyes.
Okay. Yeah.
So I guess we'll move on now to our student panel. So Efren, if you want to join us as well, come on up. So I want to introduce our student panel. We have Jonathan McKenzie, and Jonathan is a current student in the IT program, and he's finishing the program soon, right? And Efren, do you want to join them?
Sure, well,
Efren Gerson is also working in IT at Contra Costa College, and he was a student before in a program that he'll talk about. Okay, so I guess I'll just ask you guys first to tell us a little bit about your experience as a student in these programs. So I don't know, Jonathan, if you want to go first.
Well, when I started for the program, I wasn't really looking to get into IT. I was just looking for just fixing computers for relatives. And so I just sort of stumbled in on the program, and it's just been, I've learned a lot, and just something that I didn't think I would really enjoy, but it's just been a wonderful experience.
Okay. And Efren?
yeah, my experience has been similar. When I was a kid, I would take the computer apart and take the hard drive, motherboard out, and then find parts and replace it. And that's always been my passion since I was a little kid. And later on, I uh, went to Diablo Valley College, and I studied computer science there. And in fact, I did not know about computer network program they had over there. And if I knew for sure, I would have taken some computer networking classes. But computer science was a great start, and it's all about your passion. I think if you like computers or whatever your passion is, it's better to find it at a community college than going to a university and changing your major there. So, uh, yeah.
Okay, great. And what are some things that helped you guys succeed in your courses in these programs?
Well, I would say passion. You know, enjoying what you do uh, is definitely helps out a lot. I mean, right now I enjoy learning, so now I'm working on my master's degree. I'm taking all online classes at CSU Fullerton uh, to get a master's degree in IT. Uh, it's if you enjoy, if you like what you're learning, definitely you make time for it.
And Efren, you started as an ESL student, right?
Yes.
Okay. So did you take ESL classes first and then you went to take computer classes?
Yes, at Diablo Valley College.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
How long did it take you to do the program?
Well, I was at DVC for almost 4 years because I first started with computer science and then switched to electrical engineering and then decided that's not for me and then I switched back to computer science. But yeah, overall, I was there for 4 years.
Okay, great. And Jonathan, how about you? What are some things that have helped you succeed in your
I
courses?
say the same in that also having uh, other students that you weren't going to talk to and bounce problems off of. And
Okay.
okay, see, is this working then?
You can pull it closer to you, I think. Yeah.
But
So I think Jonathan was saying that working with other students and kind of bouncing ideas off of them really helped you as well? Okay. And it sounds like the program has a lot of opportunities for students to work together through the
Yes.
club and,
yeah, through the club, and there's a lot of different hands-on experience labs and
okay,
where you're working with other people.
okay. And what are you doing now, Efren? Why don't you tell us what you're doing now?
Well, for the last, it's been more than 8 years now. I've been working at Contra Costa College. Uh, and before that, I worked at DVC for about 2 years. Yeah, once I realized that this is my passion, this is what I want to do. I worked part time at DVC, and I loved it so much that I wanted to work full time. And this position came up, and I applied for it. And
And what is the job? Tell them what the job is.
well, our job, so we're a team of four. We have one IT manager and three of us that we pretty much take care of any computer related issues at the college, managing them and configuring them, imaging, system administration. So pretty much all those jobs that were listed there, we do a little bit of everything here at the college.
And how about you, Jonathan? What are your plans? What stage are you at now?
Well, since about February, I've been into having an internship at Lawrence Berkeley Lab with their workstation support team, and so we configure computers and make sure they get set up properly and see and or whatever and what other sort of needs that and sort of assist with whatever needs the different scientific departments have.
Okay, so you help other departments with their computer needs as well. Okay. And what is one piece of advice you would give to a new student wanting to start in this program? We have students who are interested, who are here, and students who are on Zoom. What one piece of advice would you give them?
Do not be afraid to jump in and do it, because I've had a lot of days where I didn't feel confident in myself or my skills, and yeah, but once I got into with the internship, I was seeing that I actually could do could
Okay, so don't be afraid of the first step to start the
Yeah.
program.
So can I add something on that?
Of
So
course.
I always tell my students, just do it, right? Because if the scare of opening up computer, right, gets you, then you're gonna be afraid. So just do it. Go in there, right? So that's why on some of our labs, you just open up a computer, and we have computers all over, and then you put it together. If you break it, that's okay, right? But please don't break it on purpose, right? Okay. But it takes away that scare. When you take away that scare, then you could like all of a sudden the door will open to you like, oh, this is so easy. What, and people get paid good doing this. Then you get into that, right? And that's what we like you to go in get into.
Okay,
Right,
thank
so-
you. Efren, how about you? What is a piece of advice you would give to ESL students wanting to go into this field and start the program?
Well, I would say not giving up, and there's going to be a lot of challenges always, especially being in ESL and all learning new vocabulary in computer networking, and not giving up and you know, being passionate about learning and asking a lot of questions. Especially here at the college, we have wonderful faculty that are always willing to help and go above and beyond. So to be able to use those resources, extremely important.
Thank you. Any questions for the student panelists? Uh-huh.
How much of English that you need classes? And if you were an ESL the difficult for me is the English. I don't know. Your English is
So
great.
I'm gonna just repeat the question that is asking Efren, since he was an ESL student, how much English does he think is required to be able to succeed in the program? And that's your main concern, being an ESL student.
I think as long as you're able to explain yourself, that's good enough. Just like now, how you're able to ask a question and we are able to understand it easily. So it's more than efficient. More, I would say, majority of the people in IT are ESL. So there's nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be scared of. It's being out there and asking questions just like you did. So it's not an obstacle to being an ESL.
Susan?
Efren, were you taking ESL classes at the same time that you started the program?
Yes.
So the question is, was Efren taking ESL classes at the same time as he was taking computer classes?
Yes.
You were? Okay. And what level ESL were you? Do you remember?
Well, it was the top level. I don't remember the number. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they help out a lot too. Taking ESL classes absolutely is a great step. And also watching YouTube. I mean, those things also help out a lot.
Yeah, I guess there must be a lot of ways that you can help familiarize yourself with the information on your own as well,
Right,
and
right.
that could help.
And attending these events, right? I mean, these events, socializing and exercising, and like I said, talking with the faculty helps out a lot.
Okay. Other questions for the panel? I think there was one question for Professor Reyes on Zoom. One of the students was asking if the network specialist program, if it's free. Is that what it was, Mariah?
Yeah, they were just asking if the entire course was free of cost for that summer program you mentioned, the cyber.
Oh, the
the
cyber?
cyber
Yeah,
security.
it's free.
Okay, and then they had a follow-up question, which was, when do they start?
Summer.
I'll get the details from Professor Reyes and
Right.
email it to everyone. I think you had the dates there.
That was the dates from last summer,
Okay.
right? So we're still on the process of organizing the next summer. Usually, it's gonna be coming up like spring.
Okay, so in
The
the
promotion
spring.
is spring.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure to get that information and email it to everybody here at this event.
And then there was
Thank you.
one more follow-up question around the same event. It was whether that program is online or in person.
That is in person.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? No?
Well, one thing I can add, after I watched Professor Reyes's presentation, is with an IT degree, it's much more likely that you can get a job in IT compared to other majors. Uh, if you're undecided between IT versus something else, and if you have passion for, fixing computers and working with software, I would highly suggest IT because even with just an associate degree, you're able to find a good paying job.
Okay. What is like a salary range for someone who completes the program, the 22 units? What kind of job can they get? What kind of salary range can they look forward
From
to?
the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is basically the U.S. department that does the survey, right? So it's legit. Like when I was looking at that, right? It's about like 50 to 60 at the start, but you have to have like you have to have like the internship because you have to have the skills for it.
50, 60
Yeah,
per year?
K a year.
50 to $60,000 a
A year.
year
Yeah,
is
so that's
the
from the Bureau of
starting.
Labor Statistics.
Okay.
Yeah, so
If you finish the program, including the internship.
including the internship. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, a little bit higher in California because again, this is the where all the IT headquarters is. Google, Facebook, right? All of when you get into when you get into those kinds of places, usually the salaries are higher, right? My two kids, they used to work at Google, right? And they had that salary amount after graduating.
Great. And so you also mentioned that there's an IT club. Can you tell our students about that?
The IT club, it's free to join. Everybody's welcome, right? Even now, my, if I could give you my email, just email me. I'll send you the Discord location. You just click on it, and all of the IT members will welcome you. We meet every Thursday from 4 to 5. So we have like an IT tutor there, right? Joseph, right? And then we have other students like if you ask for, oh, my computer is not working great, like could you suggest, and everybody chimes in, right? So it's a community for those who are interested in IT, because you have to have a community, right? So it's hard to be alone, right? On any jobs, right? So if you don't have anybody to ask, it's hard. So the best way is to belong to a community of the same interests, which is information technology,
And
right?
this is online, Professor Reyes?
Online, we meet
Okay.
every Thursday from 4 to 5 online, and right now our project is to prepare the students for the most basic certification, which is CompTIA A+ certification. So every time we meet, we review, right? So and it's all free, right? Yeah, because I was like that before. It's hard to review by your own, so it's good to help each other. So
Great. Yes. Your question is how can you be creative as a computer network specialist? Like, what are things you can create? Like, invent a new thing or?
so in IT, there's a lot of opportunities like to be creative, right? So now the where the networking world is going now, right? Is like you said, like working from home, like companies, big companies like Netflix, Visa, right? In all, they're going into the cloud. What that means is they don't have a warehouse of all computers anymore. That when before you could do business, you buy all of the computers. Right now, you can rent a computer from AWS, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure Cloud, or Google Cloud, right? And the cost will be 10% of the whole cost of like building a company. And because there's because a lot of the cloud computing companies like AWS is all over the world. If you are helping a business, let's say somebody who's selling hairpins, right? Like you were successful in doing that in America, right? If you want to go international, you say like, okay, I'll be creative. I want to go global, right? Just like that, you tell AWS, you can create how you can go global in minutes because their data centers are all around the world, in the US, in Europe, in different countries in the world, right? So you you know the it's big, right? So you're not just creating website. Like creating websites, there's a lot of website creator out there now. It's more than that. Creating the company itself, to be outside of the U.S. or anywhere around the world, right? So that
It depends on the kind of work, for example, if you work for a company, it depends on what the company does. You can find many ways to be creative in helping them expand or to sell abroad, to have a market abroad.
And I can add to that. For example, here at the college, it's always like we always look for how can we make IT more efficient for our users, for our faculty, and for students. That we support Chromebooks, right? We have almost 350 Chromebooks that are checked out right now, and how can we make it more efficient because when we make one change in the Google Admin Console, it affects all these users. So how can we make it more efficient for students to have a better experience? And I can give one example. When students evaluate faculty, they used to write on a piece of paper long time ago. The faculty would bring out paper and they would write on there. And then our vice president at the time had an idea, why don't we use tablets? So we configured tablets for students to evaluate faculty, and at the time, the faculty would write down the website address on the board, so students would have to type in that web address on the tablet to be able to evaluate the students and evaluate the faculty. And at the time, I said there has to be a better way. Like, how can we make it more efficient so the students, as soon as they turn on a tablet, they see the form and they can fill it out easily. So, and I found a way to make it happen. Mm-hmm. So I set the browser to go to a shared document and that document is constantly updated by the administrative assistant. So as soon as you turn on the tablet, you just fill it in and automatically gets updated, and it's more efficient for the students.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, I can think of.
I remember those changes at the college. I didn't know all of this was happening.
I can think of a few examples from working at LBL. Is that on one occasion was that they had a department that wanted to record a VCR tape, and they did onto a thumb and put it on a USB stick, and it's like, well, how do you do that? And there goes, and they had to figure out, well, how do we transfer it? Do we even have a VCR reader, and how will we go about that? Mm-hmm. And so that's sort of where the creativity comes in, is that because oftentimes you get a problem and no one knows the answer, and so you have to start with the basic troubleshooting skills that they teach you in that they teach in the IT program. Another instance was that one of the departments of the lab uses an old legacy software that they need to run that they have running for their needs, and how do you keep it working with modern operating systems?
Thank you. I have to admit, I don't understand all of that either. So but what I understand is there are many opportunities for problem solving in a creative way, once you get into this field. So, okay, thank you. Any other questions for the panel? No? Thank you guys very much. We really appreciate your time and the effort you put into presenting to our students. Professor Reyes, I'll get the information from you. We'll email that to everyone. So you have all the information about if you're interested in going into this field, what is the sequence of classes, what classes you take the first semester, the second semester, what are the different certificates you can get, and the information about the IT club if you are interested in joining them. And in the spring, we'll also get information about the summer
cyber camp.
Cyber camps that you have. So we'll share that with you as soon as we have that information as well. So we'll be sending you all of that information. Check your emails. And we'll also include Professor Reyes' email address as a contact. So if you're interested and you have questions about the program, maybe you go home and you remember some questions, you can always contact Professor Reyes to ask. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Yep. Thank you.
And thank you guys all for coming here. And for those of you on Zoom, for those who are here, we have some food and drinks in the back. So please help yourselves. Thank you.
I didn't know that you graduated from this area.
Yeah, if I was living in